What if learning isn't about certainty, but dissonance? Not about knowing more, but knowing differently. In a culture that rewards clarity and control, we often treat learning as a linear path toward mastery. But I want to propose a different philosophy, one rooted in disruption, co-construction, and language. A philosophy that invites us to rethink not only what learning is, but what it does. Let's begin with disruption. Drawing from Jarvis, Holford, and Griffin's idea of disjuncture, learning isn't the smooth absorption of knowledge, it's a rupture, a moment where familiar frameworks collapse under the weight of new experience. This orientation isn't failure, it's the precondition of transformation. And yet many learning environments are designed to avoid discomfort. We chase efficiency, engagement, and enjoyment, but in doing so, we risk sanding away the friction that gives learning its depth. As educators, we must ask, are we designing for comfort or for growth? The second principle is co-construction. Learning is not the internalization of static facts, but the dialogical negotiation of meaning. Theories like Vygotsky's zone of proximal development and situated learning remind us that knowledge is made, not received, through the relationships, and those relationships are not neutral. So Glaister et al. 2024 expands on this. They show how informal infrastructures, peer support, digital spaces, casual conversation, these often carry the richest forms of cognitive engagement. These invisible layers sustain learning just as much as formal instruction. Which brings us to language. Language is not just a vehicle of learning, it's the terrain of learning. It shapes what counts as knowledge, who gets to speak, and what's worth understanding. Bell Hooks, 1994, called for engaged pedagogy, a practice that resists domination and uses language to liberate. In schools, I've seen how language can either constrain or empower. Labels like at risk or low functioning don't just describe, but they define. They shape identity and limit possibility. Bélanger's multi-dimensional model reminds us that learning is not only cognitive, but also social, emotional, and identity-based. And language mediates all of this. It is where theory meets power. The final principle is recursive growth. Learning doesn't move in straight lines, it loops, it revisits old questions with new perspectives. A recursive model of learning values iteration over completion, reflection over performance, and uncertainty over closure. And so my philosophy of learning is that it's not about control, it's about encountering the unfamiliar, holding space for tension, and using language not to reduce meaning, but to responsibly dwell within it. What does this mean for practice? It means designing for productive dissonance. It means facilitating shared authorship. It means using language as a tool for inclusion, not containment. And it also means trusting in the slow recursive unfolding of growth. To learn is to unlearn, to reframe, to speak, and to think differently. If we embrace learning as tension, dialogue, and responsibility, we don't just teach, we transform. Thank you for listening.